So good evening. Welcome to the 41st CALLERLAB convention in Reno, Nevada. Today is Sunday, April 13th, and this is the orientation session. I'm Pam Clasper, your moderator, and Arlene Kaspik, our panelist, is here with me. I'll introduce her more fully in just a moment. So a very warm welcome. I'm delighted to see we've got 41 callers here who are here for the first time, and we are thrilled. That is wonderful. And just a little plug, 5 of them are Canadians. Yay! All from Alberta. So the first thing I'm going to do is explain what you get in your package. Just go over it briefly with you. You've got your copy of direction. This is your full program guide. This tells you everything about all the sessions that you may want to go to, when the banquets are, where everything is, who's doing whatever. And if there's something in one of these, and it also tells you which sessions are going to be recorded. The little microphone beside it tells you what's going to be recorded. If there's something in one of the sessions that you aren't completely clear about, they try and write a decent description, but things change. And sometimes they aren't as clear as they might be. If you have a question about some of them, try and find one of these people in the hallway or ask someone in the home office, and they can clarify even more if you do have any questions about what's in any of the sessions. But this is sort of your Bible. There is a floor plan. This is the second floor that we're on now that has this and the other room and where the home office is. All the meeting rooms, the breakout rooms for tomorrow morning will be right here in this room. The first session tomorrow morning will be right here in this room. But then when we have the breakout sessions, they're up one floor on the third floor. So this is your map of the third floor. We have 2 mini schedules. If you don't want to carry the big one around, and what a lot of us do is take the detailed one, go through it, pick out the sessions we want, and then mark it on here so that you've got them. And this is just something smaller and lighter that you can carry around with you and shows you what's going on. And you've also got your menus for Monday and Tuesday for most of us. You'll have been given a special little card if you have a special meal. If you're vegetarian or lactose intolerant, glucose intolerant, any of those things. So this explains what's going on at the banquets. One of the most important things in your package is the critique sheet. We ask that you please fill these in. If you want to sign it, fine. If not, that's up to you. But the members of the executive committee, so that's the chairman, the vice chairman, and then there are 3 other members of the executive committee, read every word on every critique sheet. And that is how they help plan the next convention. So they love to get these. I mean, various things have happened. I wound up as a committee chair for a while because of what I said. Arlene is here tonight because of what she wrote last year. But, we want you to get involved. So you've all got a critique sheet in your packet. They're at the Wednesday morning meeting, there will be a box. They usually just bring out a big cardboard box on the stage, and you can just pitch them in there or give them to the home office staff. So that's sort of the items that you've received in your package, and to let you know what's going on. So now Arlene is going to, last year was Arlene's first convention. So we've asked her to come, and so she can tell you what it's like to be a first timer. This is my 14th, I think. So Arlene is from the Chicago area. She started dancing in 2004, suggested by her partner Kate. And then Kate also recognized something in Arlene and said she should be a caller. So she attended her first caller school in 2006. She's calling regularly and teaching regularly for 5 clubs in the Chicago area. She will be calling at Little Rock at her 2nd national convention. So Arlene.
Thank you. A little aside about Pam. The very first caller school I went to was the GCA caller school prior to a convention. And, I walked in feeling pretty smug because, I had 8-10 minutes of mic time, and I was in the beginner's room. So, piece of cake, right? It happened to be one of the years that it was just a weird mix of people in the class, and there were way more advanced and intermediate callers than there were actual newbies. So I'm sitting in the back of the room and I'm hearing things like, well, I've been calling for about 8 years and teaching for 6, and I'm calling for 4 groups. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? But Pam and her spouse, Barry, who is, as you know, Mr. CALLERLAB, Yeah, but they were present at the Caller School, and they were like rocks. You know, Barry sat on the edge of the stage at the Caller School dance and just kind of smiled at us all and helped us all get through things. Pam has attended so many Caller Schools that we lovingly refer to her as the GCA Den Mother. And trust me, she needs to be a den mother for us sometimes. But I'm delighted to be here. As Pam pointed out, I came to square dancing and calling relatively late in life, and in your decade of life, being still kind of a baby caller is a little humbling because people see the gray roots in my hair and assume I've been doing this since Jesus was a child, and that's just not the case. But one of the things that struck me about last year was that. I walk in and I'm a little starstruck. I see all these names of people that, I have their recordings. I've heard sessions that they've recorded. I've read articles that they've written. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there they are, alive and in the flesh. But yet, they were so welcoming. And, how many of you have been calling for 5 years or less? Yay. Welcome. You already have a leg up on how long it took me to come to my first CALLERLAB. But whether you realize it or not, you are their colleagues right now. And not only are you their colleagues, but they are anxious to welcome you into the fold. I happen to be one of those people that doesn't particularly like wearing name tags, much less things that hang from name tags. And I thought, oh, geez, now, they made a big point that I've got to wear this first-time attendee ribbon. And I'm thinking, I'd rather have a root canal. But what I discovered is that people really kind of kept their eyes peeled for them. Because not only did they want to take a quick read of your name so they could very surreptitiously call you by your first name and make you feel like you've been here forever, but they want to welcome you into the fold. They want to share what they know with you, which brings me to a point about serendipity. I think if I had only one piece of advice to give to first-time attendees, it is to be open to serendipity. I walked in and I'm thinking, I'm not going to know anybody. And I just really, I'm contrary to popular belief, not all callers are extroverts. I am an incredible introvert. My introvert is off the charts. And so for me, to have to strike up a conversation with people, I've got to gird up for a couple of days in order to do this. But what I found was that I walked in, I saw someone that I happened to know, and I thought, oh, good, I can have dinner with somebody tonight. And she said, well, I was going to meet Pam and Barry for dinner, but I'm sure they would welcome to have you along. Well, the dinner party grew, and suddenly I was hearing about the beginnings of CALLERLAB and history and some of the funny little asides that are part of our history. So be prepared for that. It's kind of like flirting in some ways. And so what I would encourage you to do is to make a point of, if you know other people here, that's great, and use them to help you get to know more people. But don't rely on them. Be brave, be bold, go where you've never gone before. Walk into the banquet room and find a table that's partially filled. And ask the simple question, are these seats taken? Not only will they say no, but they'll say, yeah, they are taken. They're taken by you. Come on, join us. And it's really very easy to start conversations with most of the callers here. And in case you need a couple of one-liners, you might try things like, Barry Clasper, I just read an article that you wrote about blah, 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 blah. It really changed the way I was thinking about something. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to meet you, Mike Seastrom. I just bought a recording that you made, and it has quickly become my favorite singing call. People love compliments, especially when they're sincere. And you will have a chance to put a lot of names and faces together for people that you may know casually. You'll get to know them a little better. So take advantage of those opportunities. Sit next to someone and strike up a conversation. One of the things that I value are the people in my life who have become mentors for me, both personally and professionally. And a lot of those mentor relationships happened over something silly. We happened to bump into each other as we both tried to get into the elevator at the same time. We both were aiming for the same seat in a session. And so we'd laugh and we'd strike up a conversation. But especially if you find that you're meeting other callers in your area that you might not have met before, particularly pay attention to those people. Strike up a conversation. Say, oh my gosh, you're from hometown USA. That's 5 miles from where I live. I had no idea you lived that close to me. You could start up a mentor relationship that will help boost your career, help boost your confidence, and help boost your skill as a caller. It's real easy when you go to a convention to kind of keep your nose to the grindstone and you make sure that every single hour of every single day is filled with a session. And yes, the sessions are important and they're informative. But as life and luck would have it, you're not going to be able to attend every session you'd like to go to. Commercial time. For the fee of $25 for CALLERLAB members and $75 for non-members, you can pick up MP3 recordings, all those things that are starred with a microphone. All of them will be available on an MP3, and for $25, you can't make a better investment in continuing caller education. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I'll hear something and I'll think, what in the world did they just say? Because I wasn't quite ready to hear it just then. But when I listened to it 6 months later, or sometimes even longer, suddenly what didn't make sense to me after a little more experience is making sense, or it gets me to look at something a little bit differently. You can load them onto your iPad or iPod afterwards, or whatever kind of MP3 player you have. You can play them in your car, especially if you spend a lot of time commuting. And so it's a great way to take a bit of CALLERLAB home with you and to continue your caller education well beyond the dates of our convention. Don't be shy about asking questions. Chances are, if someone said something in a session that you didn't quite understand, there's probably at least one other person in the room who's in the same boat that you're in. And I know I had it happen to me last year. I thought, they're going to think I'm stupid, but I've just got to ask this because I have no idea what he just said. Afterwards, 3 people came up to me and said, I'm so glad you asked that question because I didn't understand it either. Another great way to strike up a conversation. The other thing is, one of the things that Pam didn't mention was the little blue flash drive that you got it with your registration packet. Anyone who's presenting who had their materials in ahead of time, their handouts in ahead of time, they'll all be on that MP3 flash drive. So there will be paper handouts. You're welcome to take them with you. Yeah. Oh, and ours are right on the table here. There will be paper handouts, but at some of the larger sessions, they may run out. So don't panic, because you either have them on the flash drive, or they'll be posted, generally posted afterwards, within a couple of weeks after convention. Yes, question.
Yeah. Could you please go to the microphone because this session is being recorded? Thank you.
Does that include the marketing thing that we had today, the slides? That will include that as well? It's on the flash drive.
The handouts.
Just the handouts from the sessions only. Got it.
Was that session recorded? Yes. So, for $25, if you are a CALLERLAB member, you too can take that session home with you verbatim. And we'll even throw in the Ginsu knives.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I had to gird up for days to do this, folks. Are there other questions that any of you have? I'm going to be here. If you do have questions, please feel free to corner me, and if I know, I'll tell you. If I don't know, I'll try to find out and get back to you. Pam's going to then now take over the program and give you a little more background about CALLERLAB and some of its functions and some of its background.
Thanks, Arlene. It was nice. It's very nice to hear sort of, quote, a fresh perspective. Yeah, I forgot to mention, we do have a couple of handouts, and one of them is sort of the history of CALLERLAB, and the other one is sort of some of the things CALLERLAB does and, you know, why we're there. So please take one of those, and yes, I got mine in on time, so they are on the flash drive. And Arlene, I've got a few housekeeping details, sort of just to help you, you know, with things. Arlene has mentioned a few things. Please do speak up in the sessions. CALLERLAB is you, and you make CALLERLAB. It's a very democratic organization. Even, I can speak from personal experience, even the chair doesn't always get his way. He gets outvoted. And it is, I mean, you're what makes the organization. We have 3 people here who will be introduced tomorrow morning. Jim Mayo, Melton Luttrell, and John Jones, who have attended every single convention. Yeah. And like I say, they'll be introduced tomorrow morning at the general session. But, I mean, they love talking to everybody. As Arlene says, go and talk to them. Anybody with red, I don't have it, of course, but a red badge means the chairman and the board of governors and the executive committee, if they've got a red ribbon on their badge. We've got gold card members who are life members. They have, I think it's a yellow. Just a sec. I got them all on a list. So if you see a yellow ribbon and a light blue on their, not this kind of blue, but a pale, very pale blue, almost a turquoisey blue, those are our milestone winners. So these are the legends, and they are, you know, there's a number of them here, of course, and I mean, they you know, pick their brains.
What are milestone winners?
The Milestone Award is CALLERLAB's highest award. There are very specific criteria for things you've done for square dancing and innovation and various things like that. There isn't one given out every year. Some years there's more than one. Several years there'll be none given out. But the Milestone Award is CALLERLAB's highest award. And so there. And during the coffee breaks in the sessions, there's a coffee break in the morning and the afternoon. That's a great time to mingle and meet other people. As Arlene says, sit with somebody at dinner that you don't know, or at lunch, you know, just join a table. If you're interested or want to know what our Board of Governors does, there are 2 sessions. I haven't got them in my... I don't know I haven't looked up exactly when they are. Probably one tomorrow and one Tuesday. That's usually what they do. But there are what they call BOG informals. So a couple of members of the Board of Governors will just sit in a room, and anybody can go in and talk to them and ask them any questions about anything about the board or CALLERLAB or anything you want to know. They're there for you, to talk to you and answer any of your questions. And if you're interested in becoming a caller coach or in training other callers, we also have a couple of caller coach informal sessions. So same thing. We have an accreditation process, which is a very rigorous process to become an accredited caller coach. So that you can, you know, if you're working at a caller school, you can say, I'm an accredited caller coach. It's a very rigorous process with written exams and oral exams. And again, even if you're not interested in becoming an accredited caller coach, but are interested in training other callers and working at caller schools or just helping other callers, they have these informal sessions, and there will be a couple of accredited caller coaches at these sessions, and you can go again, ask them anything you want. They're there for you. We've got vendors. There's a couple of clothing vendors, and Hilton Audio is here. So again, any questions, they're there for you to help you out. Partners. It's not in your packet, but they have them over on the table near the registration desk that says free stuff. There is a request to serve on a CALLERLAB committee. I would encourage you to do this. There's all kinds of interest committees and things to do. A lot of the work of CALLERLAB is done on the committees. And we're always looking for fresh eyes, fresh ideas, etc. Many of the committees, obviously not things like the Plus Committee or the Mainstream Committee, but many of the committees, partners can join as full voting members. They couldn't years ago. There was a few of us rabble-rousers, got things changed about 10 years ago. And so partners can join, where are we at? Things like the Marketing Committee, the Ways and Means, not caller training. Anyway, it's on this sheet, so I encourage you to pick one up and fill it. Again, leave it with the home office, and you'll start getting information on the committee. As you know, the handouts go on the website. Usually in the callers, there's a members corner. I don't know if you go to the CALLERLAB website, there's I think it's in the very upper right hand corner. There is a little link where you can log in, and there is a members only corner, and there's a lot more information available to members only than to the general public. The general public gets an awful lot, but members get even more. So please, you can check out that, and the handouts are up there. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I can't guarantee to answer, but I can maybe point you at somebody that doesn't. Yes, please come to the microphone, because as I said, the session is being recorded, and so we would like...
We are here to present a program, and we didn't understand about the whole process until it was too late, so we can use some more handouts, and there's nothing on the flash drive, I'm sure. But we're going to talk about re-imaging square dancing, and implore the CALLERLAB and callers to participate in this program. And we're dealing with the marketing committee, and so it's also true that the marketing session is not listed in the book. There is one listed at 4 o'clock, but we're on a marketing session in the same room at 2:30. So if anybody's interested in hearing about rebranding, re-imaging square dancing, that's where we'll be tomorrow. But I would like to be able to get a couple of handouts available, as you mentioned, to...
Well, they wouldn't be on the flash drive, but
Right.
if you have hard copy of things, talk to the people at the home office. They can take care of that. They have a printer there. They can look after things for you. So go and talk to the home office people. Okay?
And you said they would also then take information and get it on the website? Or
Yeah, it would be
someplace?
posted on the CALLERLAB website after convention. Once the home office is in Topeka, Kansas, and they drove here because they brought so much stuff. So it will give them a few days to drive back and sort out all the paperwork they get and stuff. But yes, things do get posted up on the website. So is this, now just hold on a sec, please come back to the microphone. Is this session that you talked about, is it listed in this guide?
It is not listed there. The marketing session is not
Yeah,
listed at 2:30.
All right, so
There's a marketing session listed at 4.
that's the marketing committee meeting, right?
But there were 2 marketing committee sessions defined, and we're doing the first one, but it is not listed there.
So Monday at 2:30, so Proficient Plus Communicating the
Am I
Arts.
true, or is there something else that's in there?
It's in the same room, and it says rebranding.
Okay, it says the arts, it doesn't say marketing, and I just didn't have time
Yeah,
to look
well,
at it.
and Mike
So it is
Hogan will
listed.
be there because he's chairman of the marketing.
That's correct.
Marketing committee. So what I was going to say, occasionally things get changed, and there would be an opportunity tomorrow morning in the general session to mention it. But if it is already in the program, then you're fine. And I noticed that the first of the Board of Governors informals is also it's also at 2:15 or 2:30 tomorrow. And it'll be Betsy Gotta and Vernon Jones will be at that one. And where's the Tuesday? There's a Tuesday one as well. Anyway, so you can get those. So and I mean Arlene mentioned it, but I can't stress enough that the $25 you pay for all the recordings is it used to cost, if we bought all the recordings back in the days of tape, we literally got tapes, even when they first got CDs, it was $189 to buy all the recordings. And then a couple of years ago, Dana managed to negotiate with the people who do the recording, and basically he buys the masters and has the equipment and makes them, and so we get this $25 value. So it is an incredible value. And you can't go to every session you want. So if most sessions are recorded. Committee meetings are not recorded. The BOG informals and the caller coach informals will not be recorded on purpose because, like I say, you can sort of say anything you want there. But so pick your sessions, and if you're sort of debating between going to 2 sessions, if one you think they may get a square up and it may be more visual, you might want to go to that one because these are strictly audio recordings. So that might help you make your decision if you've got sort of a little conflict and there's two places you want to be at once. If one you think the audio would be fine, but one is more visual, you might want to go to that. If the gentleman in the square dance shirt could stand up, I just mentioned the three that had been to every one. This is John Jones, who just came in. If he would stand up, please, so you can see. He's hiding in the corner. John is one of our what, the third chairman, fourth chairman, John, somewhere? The fourth chairman? The third chairman, our third chairman of the board, and he has attended, this is his 41st CALLERLAB convention. He's been to every one. So yes, and these are the kind of people that are eager to get to know you. Like I say, we are so pleased we've got so many first time attendees this year. It's wonderful. Please, Andrew. Yeah, because
okay. I wanted to mention two other things as well about how to use your time at CALLERLAB convention. One is that as important as sort of the content or panel sessions are, make time to attend at least one committee meeting. And, ideally you'll pick something that you have an interest in. Not only, is it sort of a chance to maybe think about, would I like to serve on that committee either now or in the near future, but it also gives you that insight into the inner workings of CALLERLAB and how things get done. Now, a lot of the work gets done outside of this convention, through emails, through phone calls, through, if people happen to live close enough, they might actually meet face to face. But you'll learn about the work that those committees have done all year and what they're facing in the future. The other thing is, having attended a number of conventions of various types in my life, I know how exhausted you can be at the end of the day. But make time for some of the evening activities, for some of the lighter, fun activities too. It's a great way to get to know people a little more informally, and they're fun. And, yes, it's a learning experience, but it's also a chance to have a little fun at the same time. Pam, did you have other things?
Not real. I don't have anything else particularly, unless anybody else has any other questions. So our time's just about up anyway. So you've got a little bit of a break to go and grab a quick bite if you didn't after the reception. And in the Bonanza Ballroom, just back near the registration desk, there is a plus dance at 8 o'clock. Mike Seastrom will be the MC, and a lot of the recording artists are going to be calling that dance. So you're going to have a great dance. So please enjoy your convention, speak up. Those of you who are members, you should have I forgot to mention, because I don't get one because I'm not a caller, vote card. You should have a pink vote card, and you need that for the Wednesday morning meeting, because that is our formal business meeting. And there are a couple of issues, I believe, that we are going to be voting on this year, so you need your vote card to vote, so make sure you bring that to the Wednesday morning meeting. Question, please come to the microphone. Yes?
If we won't be attending that meeting, do we vote anyways?
No, and what happens, John can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you need to have, for a vote taken Wednesday morning to be binding, you need a certain quorum of members to be here, and I don't think we'll have that quorum. So the vote will be done, if there is other votes, it will be after. John, could you clarify, please? Thank you.
For a vote to be binding on the entire membership, there has to be at least 2/3 membership in attendance at the business meeting. So, but you have to be in attendance to vote. After this vote is done, then all of that information will be sent to all members, and then all members will have the opportunity to vote whether to sustain or reject that motion.
Thanks, John. And I believe we will not have that 2/3 quorum here at this meeting, because there are about 1,500 members of CALLERLAB, and there are about 300 attendees here. That's about 200 and plus callers. So we will not have, it will not be a binding vote, and it will get, as John says, will get sent out to the full membership for the binding vote afterwards. Thank you, John. Any other questions? Please go and attend the dance and enjoy yourselves and enjoy your convention. Thank you.